Yeah, I can see. This is being recorded. So should I start? Hello everybody. I'm truly honored and thrilled to be here with you. As an educator, I find it extremely important to share what I believe to be crucial, whichever the problem is, whichever the subject is. And today we are going to talk about the student needs in a somewhat unusual way, because we will actually start with your needs. This is what we are going to cover, hopefully, and this is what I would like your feedback on later when we are done. But before we jump into this all, just a few words about me. I'm Jane. Well, the name is Evgenia in Russian, but nobody can basically say that. So for my international friends, for you as well, I'm Jane, and I'm working with ambitious professionals. I'm the English teacher, English trainer. I prefer this term. It sounds more practical, more goal-oriented, and you will see why I chose it later on. And just a few facts. I'm originally from the USSR. Now I am living in Germany. And I'm working online, mostly with the Russian speakers. Before I started teaching my old time, I did an MA in global communication and international journalism in Berlin, and also studied to become a language coach. So language coaching is basically coaching, but aimed at language learners. So we help to overcome some struggles, to identify goals, to move towards them seamlessly, and so on. And in my background, I have public relations, mostly in the educational sphere, university communications. This is what I used to be very good at and very interested in. And yeah, well, I did some tutoring, quite some tutoring since I was a student. So now that you've heard that I am an English trainer for ambitious professionals, what do you think my students could need? So I'm not sure I can hear you, but maybe somehow, well, at least you can definitely reflect on it. Yeah, so if anybody has any ideas, any guesses, please. Definitely. Are there any more ideas? So what do they need this vocabulary for? Yeah, to communicate with business, at work, in professional context. Do they need to be accurate? What do you think? Is it only vocabulary? Yeah, for sure. So now please think what helped you guess that. Why did you have these ideas? Yeah, they have to be successful in their communication. with their partners. They have to be able to convey their message successfully. Yeah, that's true, that's true. But how did you guess that? How did you come to this idea? Just looking at this little slide with not much text on it. Cultural awareness. Absolutely. Now that we are mostly working in the globalized community. Yeah. So the point I'm trying to make here is the following. You know that they are professionals. We are not speaking about children, high school students. That's people who have already accomplished quite some level of professionalism and they want to take it further. They are ambitious. This is why they need the next level. So, what I'm saying here is that it's me who basically tells my students what they need by saying that I am the trainer for ambitious professionals. And this is one of my main points for today. Your needs come first. It's not that you only research the market. It's not only that you are looking into the needs of your students. You are actively shaping the needs of your students by choosing your students. Someone might be better off with someone else, not you. And it is up to you to decide. And this is truly, truly important for you to be sustainable, I would say. Because if you just try to cater for all the market, for anyone and everyone, it can most probably lead to a burnout or living quite a miserable life, if I may put it this way. Because the thing that bothers me all the time is people speaking about work-life balance. So this whole idea sounds wrong to me because, well, it is life-life balance. I'm not a robot. I'm not dead when I'm working. And this activity takes up quite some time. And I want to leave it and not just work here and leave here. It's not that I'm even able to separate it. Being a teacher, you are always somehow processing the things that happened in the classroom or getting ready for the next class, thinking about your students, their wishes, goals, their emotions, and so on. So you better be happy. That's what I mean. Oh, you're so many. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So, this is the logic. You have to be happy. I actively encourage you to be happy, which is doable if this equation is here. You want to share something. You want to spread some ideas. You want to help people with something specific. And this matches what your students need. And that's why they get better learner experience with a happy trainer, with a happy teacher. I guess you will all agree that if you are working with a happy person, it feels better. It's just your user experience, your learner experience. A grumpy teacher, a burnt out teacher is not that nice, right? So if your teacher is happy, you as a student and your students as well are less likely to skip classes, which inevitably, well, provided that the methodology is there and you are doing the right things, students get better results because they don't skip classes. Also, they stay loyal to you because they get better results with you, and they are also happy to see you happy, which increases their lifetime value. So this is basically the money that they will have paid you throughout your collaboration, like in the long run. Plus, they recommend you actively. So this word of mouth works, and this is the chance for you to invest less in advertising, in acquiring new business, new students. And last and not least, you can charge higher hourly rates, provided your students really feel that you are the right one. You are the right person who can help them with their goals. So this is why it is very important to decide what is it actually that you want to share. So you find your niche. Well, there are several ways. I will cover two of them today. And the first one is this ambassador approach. If you have an idea, if you have something you are truly passionate about, and you think that most students will definitely benefit from learning this, from acquiring this new skill, well, it might be pronunciation training, for example, or it might be accuracy, which we talked about. So you decide what you believe to be the most important, what you want everybody to know, to be able to do, and so on. And then you look at the market, you look at the community you can reach with this question, with the second question. Who needs that? Who would benefit the most from learning, from acquiring the skill that you believe to be the most important? So, do you have any ideas what could this be for you? What are you passionate about when it comes to English? Which part of English, which aspect, which skill? Something you could talk day and night about, something that you truly believe is the most important. For many Russian speakers, it is pronunciation actually. So if you work with Russian speakers, most of them would ask you to teach them how to pronounce the words correctly, how to sound closer to the natives, which is just their wish. It's not that you are making them. That's actually what they want. Yep, grammar, definitely. So you might want to find people who really need good grammar, for whom the language is not just a survival tool, but something more, something that makes them sound more professional, something that makes them feel more accomplished. Reading. Okay. Okay, reading for business documentation. I would say legal English and so on could be a niche. So if you want to cater for this audience, yeah. Yep, yep. And communication skills and English as part of those. So if you are passionate about it and you want to dedicate your time to teaching that, find someone who needs it. Yeah, overcoming this language barrier, which is so famous. Well, and there is another approach. If it's not the idea that you want to share with anybody you can possibly reach, you might think about people you want to spend your time with. And then think what these people need English for and what they lack and what you can teach. So this is my approach, I must admit. So I love researchers, for example, and that's why I did a speaking club for scientists some years ago. And a couple weeks ago, I have finished a program for a professor, like a person aspiring for the professor position in Germany. And she did her presentation and she made it to the shortlist. So this is what she did with my help, and I was just enjoying our collaboration because I just love being around researchers. Also, people who are brave and people who are in education. So now I'm also teaching a startup founder who is doing a game, like, well, it's a long story, but it's teaching soft skills to kids. And it's a game. So it's pretty new and hard to explain. And they're trying to enter the European market. And I'm enjoying our collaboration immensely as well, just because I love her passion about her product. And I believe her product is very important. So anything that comes to your mind here, like with this so-called selfish approach, whom would you like to spend your life with? Because, yeah, your work is life. And, I mean, these people will be around you all the time. Okay, yeah, so this is quite a niche. That's the first step to the niche. So you have teenagers and open-minded people and motivated people. So this could be open-minded teenagers, and you can define them somehow and test if you have enough people like that you can reach. So once you've done that, once you've taken care about your needs, let's see what we can ask your students, those you have already chosen, like preliminary, like it's all hypothesis all the time. You will be testing hypotheses. The most important thing is their relations to the language, their feelings, their emotions about the language, their story. And to find out what this story is, I suggest asking the following questions. This is called the metaphor practice, but well, you can also call it a fairy tale creating. You are asking your students to imagine themselves and the language somehow as characters, as some landscapes, anything that comes to your mind, to their mind. Well, actually, you can do it right now. Maybe not English, maybe you are learning some foreign languages. So how do they feel to you? How do you feel about them? What's happening in your fairy tales? Oh, this is so cute. A lost puppy in a cave. Oh. So I encourage you to think what could help the puppy. What could happen? Who can come to rescue? Or what the puppy could do. So from what I've heard talking about it with my students, I remember a metaphor of a huge book made of stone. And the person, the student, as a tiny, tiny little human down the ladder, trying to climb up and read something in that huge, intimidating stone book. But it might also be more positive, like here. This is what AI drew for us with one of my other students. And it's funny that she has 4 hands here, but well, it actually makes sense in this metaphor, because on one hand, she is really frightened and she grabs onto her knowledge, like as little as this knowledge is, she still wants to keep it, but at the same time, she is very excited and she wants to explore this place, to have some adventures here. She is truly open-minded. And actually, this lady has made really great progress. She is now doing her own course in English. Can you imagine that? She's a Russian speaker, she's a nutritionologist, and now she is doing her own course on healthy eating in English. So that was her metaphor at the beginning. So this is the thing that could really tell you a lot about your students, give you very many insights. Then we are coming to more practical aspects. So language is a tool, it is means of communication. And when we are speaking about students' needs, or rather student goals, we might want to think about them as communicators and just refer to this basic theory of communication with most attention paid to the recipients, to the people your students are going to talk to, and to the reaction, be it action or emotion, that your students want to get. So why are they even engaging in this communication? Because most students would just say, oh, I need English for work, period. Or I need English for traveling, period. You have to dig deeper. You have to ask them more precise questions to find out who their recipients are exactly and what they want, what your students want to convey, and which reaction they want to get. Also, how, like the channel is also important here, how they are going to communicate. Is it mostly writing or speaking? Is it one-on-one meetings mostly, or public speaking, and so on? So here is the table that you can fill in with your students. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward, I guess. So just take a look at it and ask me questions if something doesn't make sense to you. So the language skills. Your student S. This might be a bit weird. Well, this is about their social roles. So my students are mostly speaking English when they are at work, when they are experts, when they are team members or leaders of teams. But your students might be different. They might be speaking to the others as friends. Or, well, perhaps they're looking to find someone and marry someone. Could be quite a niche. So, and then we have the recipients, we have the topics. So if you look closer at the goals of your students, you will be able to identify quite a limited number of topics. So English seems huge to your students just because they don't really realize they don't need it all. They need to talk to a limited number of people in a limited number of situations and contexts, and so the topics would probably be pretty repetitive. So the setting, like is it Zoom or offline, office or cafes and so on, and most importantly, this feedback that they want, whether they want to get promoted or asked out on a date, what should happen as the result of their communication. So this table is actually a very good basis for you to design a program, for you to design a learning trajectory. If you know that, or at least most of these points are clear to you, you will be quite confident creating this track, finding the materials and so on. But I would also suggest looking into a bigger picture. So now that you know which kind of effect they want to make, you might want to ask them what comes next. Because here, a rub could be like an obstacle, something that they cannot really realize and voice to you. So, but they will start sabotaging, just skipping classes, however they wanted it, however great your program is, even if they like you, they might still avoid these classes just because this goal, which they believe to be motivating and needed and much wanted, is actually intimidating. They are afraid of this future which will come when they speak English really good, really well, and they are able to achieve all their communication goals. And so let's say they are promoted or they get international clients. Their English is ready. They are ready to do that. But what comes next? They will have to do it. They will have to cope with the new challenges of this new position when they are promoted. Or they will have to run social networks and do a lot of marketing, international marketing, and they know nothing about that. So this is a thing to explore, just to be aware of the possible bottlenecks, like what could go wrong. And also the motivation as of now. So if you ask this question, you will just get the idea of their motivation at the time being, like when you are asking them. Doesn't guarantee you any stability here. So, any questions by now? Okay, then I will just quickly overview some more points, because we have spoken about their emotions, their attitudes, their relations to the language, about their goals, very pragmatic, very specific, but it's not all. To design a nice program for a student, you might also want to see what they love doing outside the language, like just what they are passionate about, what their hobbies are, what they could do day and night if they had this time. The question here is like, you know, if you get an extra hour a day or an extra day a week, or probably an extra week a month, without it, getting into your way anyhow. Like, so just time stops. Nobody notices. All the other things are done. Nobody takes offense. Like, nobody even is aware that you are doing something that you love in this time, which nobody notices. What would it be for you? This is the question to you now, and of course you can ask it to your students. No strings attached, just the time that you have to yourself. What are you doing? Sleeping, yeah, well, I should have mentioned that you feel all right. You feel rested, and that's okay. Yeah, exploring local restaurants sounds like a passion, right? Some wellness and fitness activities. Okay, so if you know that about your students, you might find the right materials for them. The materials, the sources that are both relevant and available. So they can actually watch that movies, they can actually read those books, they can actually go out and meet some people and talk to them. And these sources are relevant to both their goals and their passions. This what makes a very nice program. And the only question which remains is really crucial. What are your students prioritizing English over? Because when you are working with grown-ups, especially grown-ups, but teenagers are also very busy, I believe. This is not that they have some spare time. When they say they don't have the time to study English, that's true. They really don't, because we don't have any free time in our life as adults. We always have to shift something aside and prioritize something else over it. So this is where you find the actual time slot in the life of your student. When will they engage with all these wonderful sources that you have collected for them according to their goals and passions? Otherwise, it just doesn't work at all. Even if you know their needs and goals and you meet all these requirements and you tailor your course perfectly to those, you also have to be aware of these routines and, well, the timetable, actually, the schedule. And bad news. Just brace yourself. Like, none of these. So imagine you have collected all this information. You have done this wonderful, deep research. You know really much about your students and you are happy to work with them. And then it all changes. Their goals change. Their routines change. They suddenly don't like the materials that you offer. They might just, be sick and skip classes. They might have something pop up in their lives which seems more important. I have just a recent example, a lady who is looking for a job in Great Britain, and she is truly motivated. She wants it really badly. Yet, she has been rescheduling our trainings for 3 weeks now, just one by one, on a very short notice, just because she's all busy looking for some housing at the same time. So looking for a new house seems to be more important to her. So she has no free time, no slots, or most probably no mental energy. Because I don't really think it's always only about the time. It's about our concentration, the focus, our brain, which has limited resources. And just like I said, everything is changing. Your students are very unstable people. And that's why being a perfectionist will just lead you to a complete burnout. So just learn to embrace this good enough. Otherwise, it's like hours spent preparing for sessions, then hours spent, just crying in the bathroom because nothing of that works and nobody wants it. There are still the 3 things that every student needs, even when and if their goals change, their emotions change, their lives change. To acquire some proficiency, to learn the language, all of them need these four things. They need to find love, and you have to help them. You are in the position to help them, to help understand what drives them. It goes about the goals, and it goes about the process, the learning itself. So what do they love in learning? Which activities they prefer? So finding love. The second one is feeling the power. They work better, they learn better. Like everybody learns better if we understand that we are capable. So you already done, the skills that they have already acquired. And this will keep them going. This might keep them disciplined. They might show up more regularly if you show them, here's what we've done already. Here's what you can do. Well, every good book now has it, like can-do statements for every unit. So this could be of some help, but it's not limited to that. You can draw their attention. Okay. And the third point is trying their skills in the wild. So not only in the classroom, but I would really encourage you to encourage them to test their waters, to test their English outside the classroom. So try and do something that they haven't done before. Talk to some new people. Talk in front of the new audience. Well, I am actually doing this right now because I haven't given a talk like that before. So I'm stepping out of the shade. Thanks to you and Dr. Sky. And most importantly, students and us totally need the energy. This is about prioritizing your health that you mentioned already. This is about mental and physical well-being. We cannot do really much about it in the classroom, but we can draw their attention to it. So what I've been doing recently is starting my sessions with self-assessment. So how do we feel physically? Dear students, have you slept well? Have you eaten well today? What about your emotions? Are you sad or not? Are you happy? Are you tired? What's going on with you? We even have a scale, like we assess our mental and physical well-being before starting the session. And you can also invite them to check if they are comfortable, if they need to open the window, if they want to go and grab something to eat before jumping in the classroom, if they need a better posture, a better chair, whatever. So if you are paying attention to that, they will also pay their attention to that, and where our focus goes, energy flows, and we all benefit from that. Like whichever goals are, whichever goals they have, however their goals change, the needs change, all students need this. And well, it might go beyond English actually. The things that your students might need might be not English at all. Just prepare to be, to compete with Netflix. Some of them just want to have fun. They want to have something intellectually challenging yet entertaining. Some of them want some me time, especially if you work with mothers. Like learning English would be an escape from this everyday child-related routine. Someone might want to postpone their dementia and so on. So we all know that learning is beneficial for the brain, and some people are actively considering it as like fitness for the brain. You can play chess, you can learn languages, whatever. Socializing, like being around nice people. Like many of my students are motivated like that as well. Yeah, and just some routine which they can rely on. Like when the world is changing so swiftly, everything is falling apart. So, I mean, politically, the climate change, some personal struggles, and they have your English class every, say, Friday. And this is what keeps them going. And this is good enough. I mean, this is good enough to be a goal for them. So don't be disappointed if you find out that they were not actually actively intending to learn any English. They just wanted some of these. Might also happen. So what do we need as teachers, given all that? First of all, self-care, yeah, the energy, professional community. I'm actively seeking for intervisions, supervisions. Well, that's the psychological terms, but still, I'm always happy to have someone review my classes, to give me some feedback, to give me some support. So I encourage you to do so as well, to have mentors. Well, now that you are students, it's quite easy. You have mentors, but just don't give up on that when you graduate. And a nice addition could be coaching skills, just to navigate all those struggles your students are going through, all the challenges that you might face yourself. And well, it's just the skill that is pretty helpful, I must say. And you could start with the book here. It's very practical. It has some questions by the end of every chapter, some tasks to do. So if you read this first one, you might later decide if you need more, but even this one could suffice for you to be better teachers and for you to feel better in the first place. This is my main point. I would love you to feel better. I would love you to feel happier. And then you will find a way around whichever needs your students have, whichever goals, however they change. It's you in the center. You are the heart and the head of this process. So that's my main message to you. And if you have questions, you can ask them or send me an email. I'm here for you. Okay, well, it's up to you to decide. It's up to you to communicate. So I explain myself as a trainer, comparing it to fitness trainers or rather sports coaches. So we have a goal. I'm not teaching the language. I am training you. I mean, that's what I say to my students. I'm training you to be able to achieve your goals. So it's not about me somehow channeling the language into your head. It's quite the opposite. It's the student who is in the center of this process. And if they only need a very specific skill, we will focus on that one. I will not teach them, something very specific, like pronunciation, for example. I mostly don't teach it. 0.7, meaning I have to scroll it, show the slides with 0.7. Let's see. Yeah. For English teachers, middle and high school teachers. Yeah, let's see. The beauty of it is that it can be used in various contexts. Well, if it goes about a skill. So to me, language is a skill. So the way I teach it. I'm not a linguist. I'm not teaching linguistics. I'm not in academia. So that's why I believe the language to be a skill and a tool. And any skill or tool that we are giving to the students, yes, we can work about it this way. Yeah, might be helpful. Introducing some habits as well, like if you are training yourself for something. Structured approach, I need some more details so that I could understand if there is an opposition here at all. Like the things that I'm thinking when I see this structured approach. Okay, so teaching textbooks. Yeah, I guess this might work. The structured approach might work better if we are preparing students for the exams, for the situations where the requirements are really, really specific and they are the same for everybody. In case we are working with a specific need, a specific context, I would rather go for this, tailored curriculum. Although you can surely rely on books and take some materials from there. I love audios from business English books, but I don't really follow it step by step as teachers' books, advice, and so on. Just because, well, I'm mostly interested in my students being able to communicate in their specific situations. And some of the points, some of the tasks, texts, and so on in the book, or even books, if you combine them, might be like irrelevant and a waste of time. and students will feel that and their motivation will drop. No, you don't want that. Okay, people not showing up, skipping classes. Yeah, if they do it repeatedly, I will definitely ask them if something has changed. Yeah. With the money. Well. If I am teaching individually, like one-on-one, I would be very flexible. And I can let them take a break for a while, or sometimes I even return the money. Like if I see that it doesn't work, I might as well return the money. But of course, I ask them to give me a notice, like not 10 minutes before. If they are skipping classes repeatedly and they don't tell me about that until the time of the class comes, I will most probably just stop working with them. Well, asking first, of course, like what's going on, what might it be? Well, that's a really good question, actually. I have a general outline, like based on these points that I've covered. But of course, I change it quite flexibly from class to class. Sometimes it just doesn't work. So I have a plan, a nice one. I have worked on it for some time. It has like everything, but the student comes and they are upset or they are really thrilled about something in their lives, or they are just something physical. I've had it a lot. They just have no voice. They were sick and now they still want to have some classes, or they have some deadline approaching. We had it with that startup lady just recently. She had very important negotiations coming on Monday, and we had a class on Friday, and she couldn't talk. But we wanted to prepare her for these negotiations so that she could talk and she could speak, well, decent English on Monday. So I found a way around that as well. Without her saying a word, we still worked on her presentation on the points that she wanted to cover. And it went well, so they signed the contract that she wanted. Yeah. Be ready, be ready. Be ready to be flexible, be ready to forget your plan and not be upset about it. So the methodology which helps here is dogme and lexical approach. I find them really helpful in such cases when you have to be flexible. You can read about those. If you know the basics of the methodology, like the things that should be there, like they should be exposed to the language, they should be noticing the language, they should be kind of filtering this language as, like according to their goals, if they could use some of this language or not. If this language is relevant, then just, try it out and investigate more, like look into all the dictionaries, Youglish, whatever, just explore this vocabulary, try it, say something, and then this active, what they call it, active recall, yeah, then you have to organize these recycling activities and eventually encourage them to try it out in the wild, like to go out and speak to the people. And if all these points are there, Doesn't matter. You will just make a very nice class, like right here from scratch. Whatever happens, you are always prepared.
All right. Can you hear me like this?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we're just going to have one last shout out and thank you for.
This is so heartwarming and so important. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much one more time. And if there are more questions, we're going to email you. Thank you very much for joining our class today and talking more about your approach. Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Bye bye,
Bye.
everyone.